Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. Now I have to tell you that it was 38 degrees Celsius here where I live in the Western Cape in South Africa. Today it is now late evening, it's gone down to 34. So it's scorchingly hot. I am literally dripping as I stand here to do this reading. We have another hellishly hot day tomorrow. We are in the dog days of summer. And so I'm going to be doing just one reading today, also because our power has just gone out. I think there is a wildfire somewhere around that has interrupted our electricity supply. Luckily, I have a light on a battery, so I still can provide some illumination, quite literal illumination in this case. And I am going to be doing a reading based on the transition from our current monarch, from the Queen Elizabeth, to Prince Charles. And the reason I'm doing it is because in a reading I did yesterday, I saw what a shock it was going to be to the country when that moment actually comes. And I know it's a touchy subject and something people don't really like to think about. And so if it's upsetting, I do apologize, but it is something that is looming. And I was quite disturbed when I saw that card yesterday, and then today, not I think by coincidence, there was an article in the Daily Mail, an interview with Andrew Marr, who's an ex-BBC man, and he has just left the BBC. He wants to be independent. He wants to be able to speak his mind. He has suffered some quite serious health issues, a very serious stroke, and he has decided that in his latter days as a reporter, he wants to be independent and wants to tell the truth as he sees it, and not as the BBC tells him to see it. So it was quite an interesting article, and it resonated with me because it resonated with the card that I saw yesterday. And Andrew Marr said, and now he's a very experienced reporter. He's been around forever. He's very highly regarded in the UK, for those of you who aren't aware of who he is. He says that the future has not been discussed so far because the Queen is so admired and revered. But when she is no longer with the UK, the country will go into shock, and he called it an ethical earthquake. And he said that when Charles ascends to the throne, it is going to be a very different monarchy and a very different world. And the monarchy will have to earn its place every day, every week, every month in people's affections. He said there is going to be a lot of turmoil ahead for the future king. And that is because the institution will be questioned. At the moment, it's not being questioned because of the regard that the Queen is held in currently. And he also mentioned those two, he called them free riders, Prince Andrew and Prince Harry, and that Charles will have to deal with them as well. So it was interesting, and apologies for those of you who don't like long intros. I do understand, and but just for some context of this reading, I'm using the Field Tarot for this reading today because we're looking into space. We're looking into the void in the future that is going to be filled by Charles as king, and it's a very good tarot deck for looking at that kind of thing. The energy around that a future king, the energy, the challenges he's going to be facing, the successes he might have, how he's going to be perceived, how Camilla is going to be perceived as queen, the transition. I'm going to be looking at all of those things, the transition from one reign to another, and of course the free riders, Prince Harry and Andrew. So I've got very specific the layout, a spread that I have devised for this reading. It's a 9-card spread. I will explain the cards as I go through it and just see what the energy currently is that the Field Tarot is picking up. It did seem to be one of those situations where it was on my mind to do, and then that interview came through. It feels like something that needs to be looked at a little bit, either because the energy needs to change or because the energy is really it needs to be focused on. Somehow attention needs to be drawn to it. Interesting underlying energy, and I wasn't going to look at it, but an optimistic card, a positive card to start this reading is the Four of Wands. It's a celebration card. It's the happy home. It's a successful foundation, and it's very positive. I show it to you again, Four of Wands. That is the underlying energy. Wasn't really meant to be in this reading, but it popped up, so there it is for what it's worth. Encouraging. So I think universe is saying whatever else these cards tell us, do not feel despondent, and take heart that I think everything will be okay for the monarchy. So the center of the reading, I want an indicator of Prince Charles as king. How's he going to be? Wow. We get the universe, which is the world card in the field tarot. That's an incredible card. Very, very potent card, and very interesting to me as a reader, because I saw that card yesterday in the reading where I had that rather troubling card. I've got a dog trying to climb through the cat flap. Tess is trying to climb through the cat flap to come and join me for this reading. And it's cooler outside. She's staying outside. But anyway, the world card showed up in the Princess Trust reading that I did yesterday. For those of you who saw that reading, Prince Charles is going to be very successful. He's going to be viewed as very successful, and that's quite astonishing, because the world is a successful completion. He is going to be king. He is definitely going to be king, and it's going to be a successful reign. It's going to be a successful ending for him to that very long wait, or a lifelong wait, to accede to the throne. It's a really... he is going to step into it, and he is going to be viewed very favourably, and internationally very favourably. So very interesting. Challenges that he's going to be facing as king, and the Seven of Discs. That's always about resources. The Seven of Discs is about your harvest, how much you have accumulated, what resources you have tucked away for hard times. There might be some kind of economic crisis while he is on the throne, and people will be guarding their resources. He'll have a limit. He might be a bit cash strapped as a monarch. The government might defund the monarchy to a certain extent, or it might just be that the UK is going through hard times financially. No surprise there. I think we can all see that things are a little bit rocky financially on the financial horizon. Trouble might be brewing, and so that is that, but it's not anything catastrophic. It's not a card like the Tower or something like that. We don't want to see that as a challenge. What successes is he going to have? What's he going to be renowned for? Death. That's a Scorpio card, and chances, of course, it's Scorpio, and I have to laugh as a Scorpio myself. You never get light and easy cards when you do readings involving Scorpios. Unfortunately, it is hard to be a Scorpio, I have to say. And yes, I'm playing my very tiny violin of self-pity. But there's the Death card. He is going to radically transform the monarchy. He's spoken about it. He's talking about slimming it down, cutting out those... what did Andrew Mars call them? I can't. The free riders. Get rid of the free riders. The monarchy is going to be radically transformed under Charles. It looks as if he's going to reallocate literally the buildings, the palaces, all of that, repurpose them. That's the word I've been looking for. I'm still Mercury retrograde. I'm still struggling with it, but it's going to be a radical overhaul, but I think a good one, a healthy one. It's probably long overdue. And of course, Taurus, we've had the Taurus, and now we get the Scorpio. They are opposite signs. The Taurus is the one that clings on, that endures, that doesn't like change. The Scorpio is the one that brings radical change in. Scorpios are a fixed sign, and so it's rather counterintuitive that Scorpios are responsible for so much change. But Scorpios do go through this death and rebirth process over and over in their lives, and the monarchy in Prince Charles's hands is going to go through a death and rebirth process, and a healthy, I think it's going to be trimmed right down, and allowed to grow again and flourish under William when he takes over. So this is Prince Charles, I think, sees this as his role now, and that is a success, the thing that he is going to do very successfully in the monarchy. So how is he going to be perceived by the public, the greater British public? And we get the Queen of Cups in reverse. And so he's going to struggle to shake off that Diana thing. Queen of Cups is the Diana card, of course, always. Although I'm reading it more and more as people's own emotions, their own need for self-care, their own ability to look after themselves and put boundaries around their emotions and sort of heal themselves and all of that. I think that legacy is going to drag with him. It's never going to go away. People are always, there are always going to be people out there who are not going to forgive him for Diana. And she should have been queen, of course. And so that is going to just drag on, and that is just something that will, something he just has to accept and just deal with. So, how are they going to view Camilla as queen? It does look like she's going to officially be called Queen Camilla. How are the public going to take to Queen Camilla? The Chariot, interesting, Cancer card. She is a Cancerian sitting under the Death card. So the two of them, there's the Scorpio, there's the Cancerian. It's a very positive and very powerful card. She may actually do quite well. I did a reading ages ago in the first early days of this channel where it looked as if she might actually, she dreaded it. She dreaded being queen, not something she wanted, but she might in the end be let off the hook somehow. That was the reading that I did ages ago. But now it looks as if she's just going to have to deal with it herself, and she's going to be successful. They're going to see her as somebody who is able to harness negativity and drive with it, be very powerful, very courageous, very driven, very enduring, get things going, get things moving. She looks like she's going to be traveling a lot. A poor thing, she hates to travel, we all know that. She really does, but it looks like she's going to be seen in a very positive light. Even though the two horses, the light and the dark, they're of course the yin and the yang, combining those two, everybody has those energies in themselves, the light and the dark. And there are some people who are not going to like her. We see that because of the Queen of Cups in reverse. But I think she's going to rise above it, and I think people are going to be quite impressed with her major arcana. So that's interesting. So far, actually, a much more positive reading than I was expecting, I have to say. Given the cards that motivated me to do this reading today, and also the Andrew Marr interview. So how is the transition going to go from the one monarch to the other? How is the country going to feel? Five of Cups, it's going to be very, very emotional. It's going to be very difficult, as Andrew Marr said, and as I think we can all foretell. It's going to be a lot of grief, a lot of sorrow, a lot of people. It's interesting that woman has got her back to all of the cups. It's an unusual depiction of the Five of Cups. Normally, the person has their back to the two cups that haven't been spilled, and they are focused on the cups that have been spilled. Different depiction of this card completely. The woman has her back to all the cups, the spilled cups and the still upstanding cups, and so it looks as if the people are for a while going to turn their backs on Prince Charles, not be particularly interested in him, and going to be fixated on their sorrow, their mourning period. It's going to be a very difficult transition, a very emotional transition. I know that, you know that, everyone knows that, but as I said yesterday and as Andrew Marr said today, the country will go into shock. And that ethical earthquake that he mentioned, there's going to be a lot of soul searching, I think, because that card gives me the energy of soul searching. The dog who didn't make it through the cat flap is now scratching at the door, has found another way in. But we're going to persevere, push through, do this reading, get to the end of it. How is his reign going to be seen looking back? When it's all over, when it's all done. The Ten of Discs in reverse, establishment. It is going to be that death card that I commented on. He really is going to take the royal family by the scruff of its neck and shake it, and shake all the loose change out of the pockets, and all of that, so that at the end of his reign, 10 of Discs, we're going to look back and we're going to say, well, that was everything is different. The Ten of Discs always for me is the line of succession. in the royal family, and that looks like it's going to be changing. It looks as if he really is going to get in there and really carve things up very dramatically. And let us see how the royal family with that 10 of discs as well may not be in the as looked at as abundantly as it always was before as well. They've got so much prestige, so much status, so many assets, so much money, so many castles, so much property, all of that, the crown estates, all of that. He might actually shed some of that because of this 7 of discs, that the royal family might come out of his reign in a very different financial state than it started his reign. So that's interesting. The Deadwood, the Free Riders, Harry and Andrew. How is Charles's reign going to impact Harry? The Emperor in reverse. This is Harry card, not a Charles card. So it does look as if he's going to be out. It's that lone wolf energy with the Emperor in reverse. He's going to be out in the cold, I think, howling in the distance. Isn't it interesting that there are the pyramids in the distance there in this card, which always in the tarot means travel, separation, foreign land. It looks as if Prince Harry is going to be staying in a foreign land and howling unheard. The Emperor is, of course, the leader, the male energy, the dominant male energy. Ego in the reverse, it's ego that's come unstuck, that's causing trouble. Very problematic male ego. And male, of course, can be a woman who personifies that energy, so it's not meant as an offense to men. But it looks as if Prince Harry is going to come unstuck and be out in the cold. And because of his ego, because of his needs that his ego has brought to the fore, caused all this trouble with the royal family, with Prince Charles, and he is not going to be successful in setting up his own court in a foreign land. Emperor in reverse. If that Emperor card was in the upright, I would be rather concerned. It would be dominating this reading, but it looks as if he is going to be dominated by the British monarchy, by King Charles, or whatever name he chooses for his reign. And Andrew, how is it going to impact on Andrew? Judgment. Judgment isn't necessarily a negative card. It's not as negative as the Emperor in reverse. It's also major arcana. Judgment is about your decisions, your Prince Charles coming down, judging him, deciding, making decisions. But an interesting meaning to the Judgment card. It's a wake-up call always. So Prince Andrew might just catch a wake-up when Prince Charles is king and there is no queen around to protect him, look after him, mollycoddle him, as she seems to have done. So Prince Andrew might just get a bit of a wake-up. It is also a second chances card, the Judgment card. You have second coming, your another chance at things, and maybe, just maybe, he might at some level be allowed back into the fold. I don't know. I'd be very surprised to see that. I think more the consequences of his actions he's going to be judged on his actions, and maybe have to face those consequences with that Judgment card. But there is the possibility that at some level he may be allowed back into the fold and given some kind of second chance. I doubt that the public will be thrilled about that, but for family reasons it might be that he is allowed in at some level, very back seats in the dark, but there as a presence, possibly because his daughters are needed in the very slimmed down monarchy. They are running out of people to actually go out and do things for the monarchy, to get out and about and shake hands and do all that hard work that the older generation has done for decades so successfully. And as Andrew Mars said, the monarchy will have to earn its place every day, every week, every month in people's affections. And so that might explain that rather disturbing card. But there it is. That's a reading. Prince Charles, the universe. That's how he's going to be, the world, very successful. So regardless of all these problems lying around, he, I think, is going to actually handle it better than some people may suspect, and be viewed better than some people may suspect. But the monarchy at the end of it all is going to be very different to the monarchy we know now, and it is going to be a very, very difficult transition from the one to the other. So that is the reading. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.